sports station. The Kester's Postgame Show, powered by Pizza Hut. Live from the mic at Coventry Village. On 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
And good evening and welcome to the Kester's High School Football Postgame Show, coming to you live from the mic at our new 1380 The Fan studio here on the south side of Fort Wayne, where we will be bringing you a summary of our 1380 The Fan Midwest Box Breaks High School Football Game of the Week that you heard on our airwaves just before coming live to us. And it was an interesting game between Center Grove and the Carroll Chargers. Center Grove does get the win over Carroll 35-24, but some big plays late, and Carroll did refuse to go down without a fight. Unfortunately, they do now start their season with an 0-2 record, so plenty to talk about concerning the Carroll Chargers and the rest of the SAC, as we have a rundown of all of our scores from in and around the area. We'll also be talking to, hopefully over the phone, Brett Rump, who was on the call of tonight's game between Center Grove and Carroll, so we'll hope to hear from him about the game of the week, sponsored by Midwest Box Breaks and more. Also, we're going to start off with a little bit of a look around the H&K Chevrolet scoreboard of New Haven, H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School Football scoreboard. We'll get to that in just a minute, but we invite anybody, if you're tuning in, you're coming home from a football game, if you had a great time on a Friday night, we would love to hear about that. You can either text us a message to our text line at 260-447-8500, or if you're somewhere where you can stop and either pull out your phone or your laptop or your computer, if you were watching the games online, then feel free to hop on over to our online stream for the post game at 1380 The Fan on YouTube. Also, you can find the YouTube stream by checking out our Facebook at facebook.com/1380 The Fan. Full slate of scores from in and around the area tonight, and let's go ahead and get into it as we take our first look at our H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School Football scoreboard for the 29th of August. Tonight, we're going to start out. Now, keep in mind, all of these teams were once again playing out of conference action tonight. For the most part, conference play will start next week. But starting in the SAC that was playing out of conference tonight, of course, you heard it right here on our airwaves on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM, thanks to Midwest Box Breaks. It was our game of the week, and the Center Grove Trojans come into Carroll and defeat the Carroll Chargers by a score of 35-24. Eastbrook got the win over Concordia tonight by a score of 41-14. Snyder went to East Noble. They went up to Kendallville tonight, and East Noble continues their dominance, winning over Snyder tonight 29-7. So great start to the season for East Noble, and a rough start to the Snyder Panthers season, now 0-2 on the season. Homestead went to Noblesville to play down there tonight, and they got a close win over Noblesville. It was Homestead winning 13-10. Northrop got the win over Huntington North tonight, 31-23. Northrop actually outscored Huntington North by a score of 25-3 after falling behind by 14 points. Also in the SAC, Northside got the win over New Haven tonight, 39-23. St. Joseph out of South Bend came to Southside tonight and defeated Southside 26-0. And it was Bishop Dwenger getting the win over St. Francis de Sales, a team out of Ohio, by a score of 31-15. Moving on to Northeast State Conference teams, but playing out of conference again once again tonight. It was Leo getting a win over Angola tonight, 21-6. South Adams shut out Belmont 53-0. DeKalb spoiled Garrett's home opener, winning 28-7 on the road. It was Oak Hill over Norwell, 30-25. Norwell had gotten the lead in that game only for Oak Hill to score and get the two-point conversion with about 12 seconds left in the game. So Oak Hill defeats Norwell 30-25. Tough one for the Knights tonight. And Columbia City got the win over Plymouth tonight by a score of 35-13. Moving on to the ACAC, once again playing out of conference tonight. Adams Central got the win over Eastside tonight, 32-21. Woodland over Central Noble by a score of 31-8. In a game that went to overtime, it was Heritage getting the win over Delta tonight, 13-7. Blackhawk Christian gets a win over Southern Wells tonight by a score of 15-12. And it was Bluffton all over Manchester tonight, 45-6. Northeast Corner Conference teams playing out of conference tonight. It was Lakeland getting the win over the Churubusco team tonight, 14-12. Fairfield defeated Glenn tonight, 38-20. Fremont was big over Blackford tonight, 63-21. That score was 49-7 at halftime, so a running clock in the second half. Bronson, a team out of Michigan, defeated Prairie Heights tonight by a score of 31-16, and West Noble defeated Wawasee 35-19. That's a look at your H&K Chevrolet of New Haven high school football scoreboard for tonight. One score we are missing. If you would like to leave a comment either on our text line or on our YouTube stream, if you have the final score, we're looking for Wayne, the Generals, taking on Riley tonight. If you have the final score of that, either text us 260-447-8500 or pop in on our YouTube stream and say hello and also leave some thoughts about some of the scores from tonight. We'll go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, we'll continue to talk about some of these scores from in and around the area. We'll take a look at where some of these teams now sit record-wise after now playing 2 games on the early season, and a whole lot more. You're listening to the Kester's High School Football Postgame Show powered by Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Selection of custom knives. At Blade Man's, we specifically select top quality products for the best in customer satisfaction. There's a difference with top brands, and at Blade Man's, we'll take the time to explain how materials and production results in a better knife for your needs, all in a relaxed, pressure-free, consultative environment. We update our online inventory daily, so you know you're ordering in-stock product that will be shipped within 1 business day. So check us out at BladeMansKnifeShop.com or stop by the store in the shops Scout Road and have a cup of coffee on me. Be in the know and follow Blade Man's on Facebook and Instagram today. 10% discount to police and military And now you can see the collection of shim knives, the finest in kitchen cutlery, available at Blade Man's Knife Shop in the shops of Scott Road.
Are you an athlete looking to level up? PSM Performance is where the region's top athletes become more. Achieve your goals through high-intensity, one-on-one training with performance experts. Whether you want to be faster, stronger, or more agile, we'll make it happen. Now accepting athletes from 12 years up to college. Ready to get started? Schedule your first session at psmsports.com. PSM. Earn your edge.
Do you remember the good old days as a kid when you were sitting at home, eagerly tearing open a pack of sports trading cards? Oh, the anticipation builds as you uncover rare rookie cards, autographed gems, and limited edition memorabilia. Well, not much has changed. Card collecting and trading is just as exciting as ever. Experience the thrill of opening a treasure trove of sports trading cards at Midwest Box Breaks, your ultimate destination for all things card-related. At Midwest Box Breaks is based right here in Fort Wayne. Midwest Box Breaks. Value the customer. Respect the hobby. Midwest Box Breaks.
Here's more from the high school football postgame show, live from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Now let's get back to the guys recapping all the action from tonight.
And welcome, excuse me. And welcome back to the Kester's High School Football Postgame Show, coming to you live from the mic at our Federated Media Studios, as we are bringing you scores and summaries of games from all around the 260 area tonight. And a lot of interesting scores, a lot of, lopsided scores, but some close games too. So what we're going to go ahead and do is bring you a rundown of all of our area scores that we have for you so far. If you'd like to weigh in on anything, we're on YouTube at 1380 The Fan, and you can also find the stream on Facebook. You can find the YouTube link there at facebook.com/1380 The Fan, or if you just want to text in, our Parkview Sports Medicine text line is 260-447-8500. All right, let's take a look at our H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard for the 29th of August. That is tonight. Starting out in the SAC, teams playing out of conference tonight, it was Center Grove getting the win over Carroll 35-24 in our 1380 The Fan Midwest Box Breaks High School football game of the week, which you heard right here. Eastbrook got the win over Concordia tonight by a score of 41-14. East Noble got the win over Snyder 29-7, sending Snyder to an 0-2 record to start the season. Homestead got a win over Noblesville tonight on the road at Noblesville by a score of 13-10. Good win for Homestead to bounce back. Huntington North came to Northrop tonight, and Northrop got the win over Huntington North tonight by a score of 31-23. Northrop actually outscored Huntington North by a score of 25-3 after falling behind by 14 points. So good comeback win for the Bruins tonight. Northside got the win over the New Haven Bulldogs tonight by a score of 39-23, and it was St. Joe out of South Bend coming to Southside and getting the win 26-0. One more SAC team in action tonight. It was Bishop Dwenger getting the win over St. Francis de Sales, a team out of Ohio, by a score of 31-15. Northeast 8 playing out of conference tonight. It was Leo getting the win over Angola, 21-6. South Adams got the win over Belmont, 53-0. DeKalb defeated Garrett tonight by a score of 28-7. Oak Hill over Norwell, 30-25. Norwell had the lead late, but Oak Hill scored and got a 2-point conversion to take the lead late and win 30-25. And Columbia City got the win over Plymouth, 35-13. Allen County Athletic Conference playing out of conference action tonight. It was Adams Central over the Eastside Blazers, 32-21. Woodland got the win over Central Noble, 31-8. In a game that went to overtime, it was Heritage defeating Delta tonight, 13-7. Blackhawk Christian got a win over Southern Wells tonight by a score of 15-12. One more ACAC team, it was Bluffton getting the win over Manchester, 45-6. Northeast Corner Conference teams playing out of conference tonight. It was Lakeland over Churubusco, 14-12. Fairfield got the win over Glen, 38-20. Fremont was all over Blackford tonight by a score of 63-21. That game was 49-7 at half for Fremont and was a running clock in the second half. Bronson, a school out of Michigan, defeated Prairie Heights tonight by a score of 31-16, and West Noble defeats Wawasee tonight by a score of 35-19. taking a look at some of the team's records now, as they've all played 2 games to start the season, except for Lures, who will play tomorrow. Anyway, we're going to look at Northrop, now 2-0 on the season. Carroll, the Chargers, after losing to Center Grove tonight, are now 0-2 to start their season. Bishop Dwenger gets the win tonight, and they are 1-1 to start the season. Snyder falls to 0-2. Homestead now 1-1. Northside with the win tonight improves to 2-0. The Concordia Cadets are on the season at 0-2. And moving on to the Northeast State, Columbia City, East Noble, and Leo all sitting pretty at 2-0 to start their seasons. Belmont 0-2, DeKalb 1-1. Huntington North, New Haven, and Norwell all starting their seasons at 0-2. Taking a look at the ACAC, Adams Central, Bluffton, and Heritage are all now looking at the top with a 2-0 record. South Adams 1-1 on the season. Southern Wells 0-2 to start their season, and Woodland with a 1-1 500 record. Taking a look at the Northeast Corner Conference, Angola sitting at 1-1. Fairfield now 2-0 after their win tonight. West Noble also 2-0 on the season. Garrett sitting at 0-2, and Lakeland finishing out the big school division at 1-1 after their win over Churubusco tonight. Churubusco, after losing to Lakeland tonight, now sits at 1-1 on the season. Eastside also at 1-1. Fremont 2-0 to start their season, and Central Noble and Prairie Heights both sitting at 0-2. So that's a look at the records to start this young season, as most teams in our area have now completed 2 football games. We'll go ahead and take our next break. You're listening to the Kester's High School Football Postgame Show, coming to you live on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Kester's has a state-of-the-art with a complete detail and wash facility with degrease bay and 2 10-tower frame racks and alignment rack for heavy trucks. Kester's can also lengthen and shorten frames. Kester's on Highway 930 East between the Cloverleaf and downtown New Haven. Online at KesterSales.com.
Pizza lovers, when the craving hits, hit back with Pizza Hut's $5 crafted flats pizzas. 5 bold hand-stretched personal pizzas, 3 cheese, pepperoni duo, the ultimate, and for a limited time, Nashville.
Coffee on me.
Be in the know and follow Blademans on Facebook and Instagram today. 10% discount to police and military, and now you can see the collection of Shun knives, the finest.
High School Football Postgame Show, live from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Now let's get back to the guys recapping all the action from tonight.
And welcome back to the Kester's High School Football Postgame Show, powered by Pizza Hut, coming to you live from the mic at our FedMed studios tonight. If you want to join us, you can check us out on the YouTube stream at youtube.com/1380thefan, or you can find that stream by checking out our Facebook at facebook.com/1380thefan. The YouTube link will be right there. If you're driving and want to stay safe, keep it tuned right on your radio dial. We appreciate you tuning in, and if you want to text anything in as well, our Parkview Sports Medicine text line is 260-447 8,500. Going to go ahead and give you another quick rundown of our H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard for tonight. Starting out in the SAC, again, teams playing out of conference tonight. It was Center Grove over Carroll in our high school football game of the week, brought to you by Midwest Box Briggs by a score of 35-24. Eastbrook got the win over Concordia tonight, 41-14. East Noble, a good win over Snyder, 29-7 at East Noble. Homestead goes down to Noblesville and gets the win over Noblesville by a score of 13-10. Northrop got the win over Huntington North tonight, 31-23. Northside over New Haven, 39-23, and St. Joseph gets the win over Southside, 26-0. One more in the SAC, Bishop Dwenger over St. Francis de Sales out of Ohio by a score of 31-15. Moving on to the Northeast State, playing out of conference action tonight, it was Leo over Angola, 21-6. South Adams got the win over Belmont, shutting them out by a score of 53-0. DeKalb over Garrett, 28-7. Oak Hill defeated Norwell, 30-25. Columbia City got the win over Plymouth tonight by a score of 35-13. ACAC teams playing out of conference action tonight. It was Adams Central over Eastside, 32-21. Woodland got the win over Central Noble, 31-8. A game that went to overtime tonight at Heritage. It was Heritage over Delta, 13-7. Black Hawk Christian got the win over Southern Wells tonight by a score of 15-12, and it was Bluffton all over Manchester, 45-6. Northeast Corner Conference teams playing out of conference tonight. It was Lakeland getting a close win over Churubusco, 14-12. Fairfield defeated Glenn tonight, 38-20. Fremont over Blackford, 63-21. That's a game that was 49-7 for Fremont at halftime and went to a running clock at halftime. After halftime. And Bronson, a school out of Michigan, got the win over Prairie Heights tonight by a score of 31-16, and it was West Noble defeating Wawasee 35-19. Again, Carroll, the Chargers, now 0-2 to start their season after defeats to Hamilton Southeastern and now Center Grove tonight by a score of 35-24, a late touchdown there. Looking like a little bit of window dressing, but I got to get it to Jaden Van Pelt of the Carroll Chargers tonight. He had 3 touchdowns in the game, 227 yards on 9 catches. Unfortunately, after his last touchdown catch, his third one of the night, he did appear to hobble to the sideline after, so we hope that it's nothing major, and we hope the absolute best for Jaden Van Pelt. So absolutely a standout performance for him tonight. Unfortunately, it did happen to come in a loss for the Carroll Chargers. That's that segment for you tonight. We're going to take another break here on our Kester's High School Football Postgame Show, powered by Pizza Hut. You're listening live on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Welcome back. This is Adam Lundy coming to you live from the mic at our Federated Media Studios, live on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Coming to you live with the Kester's High School Football Postgame Show powered by Pizza Hut. And we're having a great time here this evening. If you want to stop in and hang out with us here in our studio, we are, of course, live on 1380 AM and 100.9 FM. But you can also find us on YouTube at youtube.com/1380thefan. And if you want to find the link via Facebook, you can also check out facebook.com/1380thefan and find the link to the stream there. I'm going to go ahead and give you another rundown of what our scores were looking like for tonight from in and around the area. Before I do, I want to jump into one of our scores that I've been mentioning so far throughout the program. It was an East Noble win over Snyder, 29-7. Now, I have been updated. Shout out to Blitz. You know who you are. They let me know that the Snyder-East Noble game was called with 3:22 left due to a serious injury to a Snyder player. The ambulance did have to make it out onto the field, so they called the game, and it was this final score of East Noble 29, Snyder 7. You never want to hear that. You never want to hear the word ambulance, so glad they called the game. Hopefully that player is going to be all right. Moving on to our H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard for tonight for the rest of our area teams, starting off in the SAC. Playing out of conference tonight in our 1380 The Fan Midwest Box Breaks Game of the Week, which you heard right here tonight. It was the Center Grove Trojans getting the win over the Carroll Chargers 35-24. Eastbrook over Concordia tonight, 41-14. Again, East Noble won over Snyder tonight by a score of 29-7. That game called with about 3 minutes left due to a serious injury to a Snyder player. Homestead got the win over Noblesville down in Noblesville tonight by a score of 13-10. Northrop got the win over Huntington North tonight by a score of 31-23. Northside over New Haven tonight, 39-23. St. Joseph shuts out Southside tonight, 26-0. Bishop Dwenger got the win over St. Francis de Sales out of Ohio by a score of 31-15. Moving on to the Northeast 8 Conference playing out-of-conference action tonight. It was Leo over Angola, 21-6. South Adams shuts out Belmont, 53-0. All right, it was DeKalb over Garrett tonight, 28-7. Oak Hill defeated Norwell. Norwell had the lead up until about 12 seconds left in the game until Oak Hill scored a touchdown. 2-point conversion was good, and Oak Hill wins over Norwell, 30-25. Tough one for the Knights tonight. Columbia City got the win over Plymouth, 35-17. ACAC teams playing out of conference action tonight. It was Adams Central over Eastside by a score of 32-21. Woodland got the win over Central Noble 31-8. A game that went to overtime tonight. It was Heritage getting the win over Delta 13-7. Blackhawk Christian, the Braves get a win over Southern Wells tonight in a close one 15-12. And Bluffton was all over Manchester tonight, winning by a score of 45-6. Northeast Corner Conference teams playing out of conference tonight. Lakeland gets a close win over Churubusco, 14-12. Fairfield gets a win over Glenn, John Glenn that is, 38-20. It's Fairfield's first win over John Glenn since 1982. Fremont was all over Blackford tonight by a score of 63-21. That game was 49-7 Fremont at half, and it was a running clock in the second half. Bronson, a team out of Michigan, defeated Prairie Heights tonight by a score of 31-16. And it was West Noble over Wawasee by a score of 35-19. We'll go ahead and take our next break here on 1380 The Fan as you're listening to the Kester's High School Football Postgame Show powered by Pizza Hut right here on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
service. Plus, Cruzy Automotive Service is the place to go for your oil change. You just mentioned this ad, and you can get an oil change. 5-quart regular oil for as low as $19.99. That's at Cruzy Automotive Service Center. They're conveniently located on Lima Road, north of Wallen, south of Till, right behind the Shell gas station. For any kind of routine service or maintenance on your vehicle, all makes, all models, you can trust Cruzy Automotive Service. 489-1089. Call Cruzy, K-R-U-S-E, today.
Here's more from the high school football postgame show, live from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Now let's get back to the guys recapping all the action from tonight.
And welcome back to the Custer's High School Football Postgame Show, powered by Pizza Hut, coming to you live from the mic here at our FedMed studios, where tonight in our 1380 The Fan Game of the Week, sponsored by Midwest Box Breaks, you heard the Center Grove Trojans come from Center, Indiana, up to Carroll High School and defeat the Chargers by a score of 35-24. There was a late touchdown for Carroll that made it that final score, but it looked like it was pretty much dominance from Center Grove throughout the. They pulled away. I wouldn't say dominance. I would say they pulled away. They showed a little bit more strength, a little bit better run game. Carroll relied on a little bit more deep balls, of course, that they got some, of course, to Jaden Van Pelt. He had 3 touchdowns in the game, 227 yards on 9 catches. Now, I did mention earlier in the show that he kind of hobbled off to the sideline after his last touchdown, but it turns out, from reports, it was just a bit of cramping, so nothing too major. A lot of cramping going on, not just this week, but the past week, too, as things have still not cooled all the way down to football weather that we're used to, that late September, October weather. Still pretty warm out, still got to stay hydrated, keep those muscles from cramping. But anywho, it was a 35-24 win for Center Grove over Carroll. But like I said, definitely some positives to pull from this loss from Carroll. And we switch over to in-conference play. You get these 2 games. Don't put too much into these first 2 games records. Some of these teams are playing against extremely quality programs from the Indianapolis, central Indiana area. And these are learning lessons that we'll hopefully see improve these teams as they go into conference play next week. But I'm going to go ahead and give you a rundown of our New Haven H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard here for tonight. Starting off in the SAC with teams playing out of conference tonight. It was Center Grove over Carroll 35-24 in our Midwest Box Breaks High School Football Game of the Week. Eastbrook over Concordia by a score of 41-14. East Noble got the win over Snyder 29-7. That game was called with about 3.5 minutes left due to a serious injury to a Snyder player that involved the ambulance having to come onto the field. Homestead goes down to Noblesville and gets the win over Noblesville 13-10. Northrop gets the win over Huntington North 31-23. Northside over New Haven tonight 39-23, and St. Joseph out of South Bend shuts out Southside 26-0. And Bishop Dwenger gets the win over St. Francis de Sales out of Ohio by a score of 31-15. Northeast 8 teams playing out of conference tonight. It was Leo over Angola by a score of 21-6. South Adams over Belmont 53-0. DeKalb gets the win over Garrett 28-7. Oak Hill squeaks out a win over Norwell, scoring with 12 seconds left in the game to win by a score of 30-25. And Columbia City got the win over Plymouth 35-13. AC teams playing out of conference action tonight. Adams Central over Eastside 32-21. Woodland defeated Central Noble 31-8. In a game that went to overtime, it was Heritage over Delta 13-7. Blackhawk Christian gets the win over Southern Wells 15-12. And Bluffton was all over Manchester tonight 45-6. Northeast Corner Conference teams, Churubusco falls to Lakeland. Lakeland gets the win over Churubusco tonight 14-12. Fairfield defeated John Glenn tonight 38-20 for their first win over John Glenn since 1982. Fremont defeated Blackford 63-21, and it was Bronson over Prairie Heights. Again, Bronson, a team out of Michigan, defeating Prairie Heights 31-16. One more for you. It was West Noble defeating Wawasee by a score of 35-19. We'll go ahead and take one more break, and when we come back, we'll kind of look around one more time and get ready to wrap things up as you're listening to the Kester's High School Football Postgame Show, powered by Pizza Hut on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
service at a low price, and they value the people that trust them with their vehicles. Experience the difference and ask for the 1380 The Fan Oil Change Special to save $17 off the low everyday price. Cruzy Automotive Service, on Lima Road, north of Wallen, behind the Shell gas station.
Here's more from the high school football postgame show, live from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Now let's get back to the guys recapping all the action from tonight.
And welcome back to the Kester's High School Football Postgame Show, powered by Pizza Hut, coming to you live on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. We hope you're enjoying listening, whether you're on the radio dial at 1380 AM or 100.9 FM. You can also, of course, check us out on our YouTube page. We do this postgame show live from our new fancy studio, and we're on YouTube every single Friday night. You can check us out. Just search 1380 The Fan on YouTube. If that's too much work for you, if you just want to be given the link directly, you can also check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/1380 The Fan, and you can just click on that link and it'll take you right there. No work needed. Or if you just want to text into us and leave us a comment, tell me I'm a goofball. I don't mind. You can call me a goofball. We got Whiskers tuning in. Whiskers, you know who you are, and I appreciate you tuning in and sending in a text on the text line. What we're going to do now is basically kind of wrap things up. I'm going to give you one more rundown through our H&K Chevrolet of New Haven High School football scoreboard for tonight. Give you kind of an update on where some of these teams are sitting in the standings, and that'll do it for tonight. So let's take a look at that H&K Chevrolet of New Haven football scoreboard, shall we? In the SAC, teams playing out of conference tonight. It'll start with conference play next Friday, but again, SAC teams playing out of conference tonight. It was Center Grove over Carroll, 35-24 in our Midwest Box Breaks High School Football Game of the Week, which you heard right here on 1380 The Fan. The call by Brett Rump and Shannon Griffith on color. It was Eastbrook over Concordia tonight, 41-14. East Noble gets the win over Snyder, 29-7. That game was called short due to a serious injury to a Snyder player. Homestead goes down to Noblesville and gets the win over Noblesville, 13-10. Northrop over Huntington North, 31-23. Northside gets the win over New Haven tonight, 39-23. And St. Joseph out of South Bend shuts out Southside tonight, 26-0. Bishop Dwenger got the win over St. Francis de Sales out of Ohio by a score of 31-15. Northeast 8 teams playing out of conference tonight. It was Leo over Angola, 21-6. South Adams shuts out Belmont, 53-0. DeKalb gets the win over Garrett tonight, 28-7. It was Oak Hill in a close one over Norwell, 30-25. And Columbia City got the win over Plymouth tonight, 35-13. AC teams playing out of conference action tonight. Adams Central over Eastside, 32-21. Woodland defeats Central Noble, 31-8. It was Heritage over Delta, 13-7 in a game that went to overtime. Blackhawk Christian gets the win over Southern Wells, 15-12. And it was Bluffton over Manchester, 45-6. Northeast Corner Conference teams playing out of conference action tonight. It was Lakeland getting the win over Churubusco by a score of 14-12. Fairfield gets the win over John Glenn by a score of 38-20. Fremont big over Blackford tonight, 63-21. And it was Bronson, a team out of Michigan, getting the win over Prairie Heights, 31-16. One more for you. West Noble defeats Wawasee tonight by a score of 35-19. Taking a look at where this leaves some of our schools now after 2 games of play in the Summit Athletic Conference. Northrop and Northside are your only 2 undefeated teams, sitting at 2-0. Your 500 teams include Bishop Dwenger and Homestead, both sitting at 1-1 after 2 games, and Carroll and Snyder, as well as the Concordia Cadets, all at 0-2. Northeast 8 teams, 2-0 teams, you're looking at Columbia City, East Noble, and Leo. 1-1 teams, you've got DeKalb, and then Belmont, Huntington North, New Haven, and Norwell sitting at 0-2. Moving on to the ACAC, your 3 2-0 teams, Adams Central, Bluffton, and Heritage. South Adams and Woodland at 1-1, and Southern Wells at 0-2. Northeast Corner Conference, you've got 2 2-0 teams, West Noble and Fairfield, Angola at 1-1, Garrett at 0-2, and Lakeland at 1-1. 2 more 1-1 teams, Churubusco and Eastside, Fremont at 2-0, and Central Noble and Prairie Heights looking for their first win of the season. That'll wrap it up for things right here on our Kester's High School Football postgame show. We hope you've enjoyed your Friday night of football, and we'll be back next week to have a lot more fun. You've been listening on 1380 The Fan and 100.9